edition of Jofo in the Ring. And yes, my name is Frank Jofo, and we have a special guest. In my opinion, the busiest man in entertainment, wrestling, and comedy, and podcasting, Zac Amico. What's going on, brother?
Thank you for having me, brother. It's going to have a lot of fun tonight.
Oh, yes. So, the wrestling world is on a buzz right now with Vince McMahon, AEW. Obviously, you are a big wrestling fan. We know that of Catalyst Wrestling. And our favorite wrestler in Catalyst Wrestling, Bruno, a.k.a. Meadowlands Monster. I know you guys have a big event coming up, July 16th, Sabotage in New York. Can you tell us a little bit about that, what's coming up with that?
Absolutely. We have a hell of a show coming July the 16th. It's going to be in Sunset Park in Brooklyn. A lot of great names attached to the show. I know we got Akira, we got Colby, Corino, and we got Jack Evans. It's going to be super, super fun. All the names you know and love from Catalyst Wrestling. Our last two shows have been absolute bangers, and I would not miss this one if I were you guys.
I was a big fan of Catalyst at the beginning because I had a sit down with Ashe Samuel a couple of last year actually, and we talked about Catalyst Wrestling and all the wrestlers that come through there. In my opinion, I find that it's a stepping stone for the big leagues because a lot of these big wrestlers like Colby Corino, Jack Evans, like you said, and on the past there was I know that Homicide has been there as well, and even Trevor Murdoch from NWA. What's the deal with that? Do they know that if they do well in Catalyst, somebody's there to pick them up and maybe go to AEW or WWE or an NWA, etc.? How does that work with that?
So I think it is a very good combination of a number of things. One of which being, yes, I do think certain people do have eyes on our product. We are aware of that. We know who's watching. We have seen people get picked up after having a good, healthy run with us.
Yeah.
As well as I think it is a testament to Ashe Samuels and his booking. The guy has an absolute eye for talent. We're talking somebody from the original Ring of Honor run. Yeah. You know, he was there for all of it. He's seen it, man. If something crazy's happened in wrestling, Ashe has fucking lived through it. And yeah, he's got an amazing eye for talent, and it's an honor to work with everybody that he books. But yes, I am very aware that I think we've done a few angles at this point where I've watched TV and been, somebody's watching our show.
Sometimes you always think like, oh, are they watching our show and they're calling us out or they're acknowledging us in a sense that, hey, you know what, do have a good idea here, and maybe they'll pick it up and make it a better one, maybe, you know?
Yeah, and I think one of the strengths that we have as a company is that all of our stuff is filmed for not just YouTube. We're on Tubi, we're on Pluto, we're on the Gas Digital Network, and I think we are a stepping stone in that a lot of guys, one of the things they need to learn that you're going to go to a performance center for is how to wrestle for the live crowd and the TV cameras at the same time. And I think we are for a lot of these guys, a polishing class where they're learning how to work the hard cam, how they're, cut promos, how to do everything, knowing that there's a live audience and an audience at home that you have to play to simultaneously.
Are you the promo teacher at Catalyst? Because I know listening to your promos with the Meadowlands Monster, I'm always my eyes are always open and my ears are always listening. Where did your passion for wrestling and the promo work that you do come from?
No, I mean, everybody brings their own to the table. There's a few guys I've worked with and given notes to, and I've helped produce a few promos. But mostly, I mean, everybody's just bringing their A game, and everybody's super talented over there. And my passion for promo, I mean, I'm a stand-up comedian, so I love having a mic. I'm a podcaster. I'm in a number of bad horror movies. And I've always loved the promo. I grew up loving Paul Bearer. I grew up loving Dusty. And, I've read online a few places that there's managers in wrestling so that fat guys feel important.
But to me, I honestly think that you could be grabbed from Catalyst and brought into a major promotion as a manager, because I find nowadays a lot of these wrestlers in the big companies need a mouthpiece For example, for me, the best one for me is Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is an exceptional talent. She will be a major champion for a very long time, but her mic skills aren't that up to par with a CM Punk or a Chris Jericho. But to me, I find that putting a manager with her, Stokely with her now, that was with NXT before, makes her even a better wrestler because now she doesn't have to worry about talking as much as she did before. What one day if somebody would ask you to go to AEW or WWE as a manager, I think you would take that job, would you?
Oh, I mean, it would be a thrill, absolutely. But I think I'm in the same boat with you that I don't think everybody should talk.
Okay.
I think some people are better off. They keep their gravitas better, being very short on words. And I think, yeah, you need somebody to sell that match, and that's a manager's job. And I know that the idea of the quintessential male manager is kind of passé. But, there's something about it when you watch the old stuff, when you watch those old promos and those heel managers, the way they get heat. I love watching old studio wrestling now, just to hear how much vitriol those people had. Just being a manager is so much fun. I've gotten to live so many dreams in the entertainment industry, and I just keep coming back to wrestling. It's just no matter what, it's just so much fun to go out there and talk shit.
I'm sure you were. You were like me. I get a lot of heat sometimes. Like, you still watch wrestling? Don't you know it's fake? But to me, I'm a storyline driven guy, and plus, I love the wrestling. If I know there's two great wrestlers that are going to be wrestling in a match, I'm going to be watching it, no matter what the buildup is or anything. For me, when I see you do those promos with Louis Bruno, the Meadowlands Monster, I used to get excited because I know that you put the intensity and the work into it. How did you feel seeing Louis Bruno debut on AEW Dark and against Lance Archer?
Oh man, I couldn't have been prouder. That's my boy. We grew up a few miles away from each other. The second we met, we clicked. He's a brother to me, so you can't help but be nothing but proud. I was so happy for him. He got some time in. He got to have a little fucking moment with Jake.
Yeah.
What a cool moment for such a great guy. And he deserves a hell of a lot more. And I can't wait to continue to be proud of him as he makes his way up that ladder, man.
Well deserved, that's for sure. And then he ended up. Well, he came back from a shoulder injury. He was out for many months, and that's why I was very happy to see that, because the day that you were on the Jofo podcast, I think we had Meadowlands Monster on the week after, and I think during that time is when he got injured, and he was hot. And to see, what I like about him is the look. You look at him and he's a wrestler, not like all these other guys that are all around that are in AEW. Like I give a lot of heat on Hook because he doesn't look like a wrestler, or there's a lot of things that are talking about now that I have my producer here laughing. But
I told Tom to interject because he's an Adam Cole fan, and he thinks Adam Cole looks more like a believable wrestler. But
that's neither or there.
We'll get Zach's opinion on that.
But this week there was Booker T that talked about kind of a body shaming kind of thing with Adam Cole, but. To me, I know that Booker T has talked about Adam Cole a lot in the past. They are good friends. I think a lot of people took it out of context. Do you feel that a wrestler has to look like a Hulk Hogan or an Ultimate Warrior to be successful in this business today?
I think that the presentation is very important, but presentation can be interpreted. Kevin Nash said something once that back in the day when you went into a wrestling locker room, it looked like the holding cell at Sing Sing. Everybody looked dangerous.
Yes.
A bunch of big, scary tattooed guys playing cards, smoking cigars. I yearn for that day. I want and I don't want to pick anybody apart. And there's guys that are smaller guys that are phenomenal.
Yeah.
But and we mentioned him before. I don't give a fuck how big you are. If you look at Homicide and tell me that's not the real deal.
But even a guy like Colby Corino too, he's not a big guy, but he's an exceptional wrestler. So
he looks like somebody.
yeah.
There's something about him. And yeah,
If he turns the
I think,
corner on a street in a dark alley and I see
Yeah.
homicide there, I'm walking the other way. That's basically what.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I turn the corner and I see homicide, I went, oh shit, I didn't know the streets went into the triple digits over here. These are scary fucking dudes, and that's what I love about Lou is you see him and you go, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
People stop. There's an it factor. There's I used to work with a Japanese film producer, and he had a company called Oh My God Productions.
Okay.
And he had limited English, but he would see people, and then if they really struck him, he would go, "You are an oh my god." And Bruno's an oh my god. Like, look at that. His tag partner in Pro Wrestling Magic, John Tella. You see John Tella, and you're like, "Oh, that's a fucking bad dude."
Yeah.
That's a guy I'm not gonna fuck with. And I miss that. I want the locker room. That shouldn't be the exception. I go back and I go to some of these locker rooms, not Catalyst, but a few of the other companies I've worked. And, there's some fucking kid and he's got his Dragon Ball Z cosplay on and he's doing poses in the mirror for fucking Instagram. And you're like, motherfucker, I'll hit you with something. Like, I don't want to, I want to watch. Deep down, what I want to see in a wrestling match is if I saw these two guys or girls, whatever, about to fight in a bar, I would go, hold on, I got to fucking see this.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same thing. It's basically what we're seeing now. But in a sense, I think there's the old school side of it, where we grew up with. It was big, bad, muscly guys fighting in the ring. And now you get to see the smaller guys. But you know what? A guy like Adam Cole, a guy like Johnny Gargano, guys like even CM Punk as well. They're not big guys. But if you tell them to go 60 minutes, I'm going to be watching that match. That's a guarantee.
Yeah, of course. And I don't think it's about size at all. It's we've seen through MMA that all size guys have all sorts of skills and those. I kind of missed those outlaw days of UFC when there was no weight classes. And you would watch
it was just you versus me, let's go.
You'd watch a kickboxer knock out a sumo and you go, oh shit, man, there's a skill to this.
Yeah.
Just because you're big, you ain't going to lay down on a motherfucker every time. Watching Akebono get his fucking shit pushed in. We've had
Butterbean on our show. It was probably one of our first guests, I think, about a year and a half ago. And we were not arguing, but we were discussing the fantasy match that everybody wanted to see, Butterbean versus Mike Tyson. And he was saying that there was a lot of backstage politics because it's just like now with Jake Paul. Nobody wants to lose that match, but they want to make big money. But I think back then there wasn't the money situation wasn't there for this match. But I think Butterbean and Tyson would have been a great match. In your opinion, who do you think would have won that match if it actually ever happened? Butterbean versus Mike Tyson.
I think it's really, really, really. You got to go by what year it happened, because when Mike had it still before he was before he kind of lost his sparkle, I think he would have ate him up.
Well, that era where remember when he was the special guest referee with DX. And the Shawn Michaels Stone Cold match. I don't know if it was WrestleMania 24, 25.
That was right after he bit Holyfield.
Yeah, and I think it was that same era where Butterbean boxed Bart Gunn at WrestleMania and knocked him the fuck out. But I think that would have been the perfect era for them to fight.
The time. I think Tyson would have had his number, but don't forget, the story of Tyson Holyfield is always Tyson bit him, but it's Tyson bit him because he was getting fucked up.
Yeah.
That was the last act of a desperate man.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know about with those fucking. And then plus Butterbean, I think was he already training early MMA because he went and did a bunch of shit in Japan.
Yes.
So he might have had some other skills that Mike wasn't ready for.
So that's the thing too, but obviously they were very different in weight, but boxing wise, I think it would have been a great match. Going on to, I remember seeing you, and I'm very vocal about it, and I know that Ric Flair is doing a roast in July, and Mike Tyson was supposed to be there, and I'm like, well, put Zac Amico in there because I think some guys could vouch for him. How did that come about, doing lagreca's roast there with some legends?
I just want to say on the Ric Flair roast, that was supposed to happen a number of years ago, and it got canceled.
Okay.
When Rick got ill, but I know some of the guys they haven't announced the dais. I know some of the comics that are on it.
Okay.
It's going to be a banger.
Okay.
One of my best friends is going to be great. And
I kind of have a feeling who's going to be there then. I don't want to say it there for the fans there, but I think I have a little feeling. Maybe he works, I guess.
He's a big wrestling fan.
Okay.
No.
Oh, he's a big wrestling fan. Does he work at Sirius XM?
I don't know. But for the people I've heard that are on it, it's going to be very good.
That's cool.
As far as the lagreca roast, shit, man. What had happened was I've known Marissa, who worked for Sirius XM for Fight Nation.
Okay.
I've known her for probably like 10 years. She actually has come to a few Catalyst events because she is just a big wrestling fan. Super cool. So is her husband, who's a great guy. And I guess somebody had pitched that roast to lagreca, and she had just seen me do the roast of Louis J. Gomez at Skankfest. She was at that. So she suggested me and two other friends of mine, Eli Sayers and James Madden, as the writers. And then what wound up happening is I had to pitch all the jokes on Zoom to the wrestlers.
Okay.
Like to their face.
Okay, before airing it to the crowd.
Well, that was like a whole real production. I actually had to have a script for everybody because Sirius's legal team had to go through each joke.
Okay.
So that was like a real production.
Okay, wow.
But I had to just pitch the jokes to the wrestlers and see what they wanted to do. And it was terrifying, but I wound up just going into performance mode, and I just roasted them all, and I did my shit. And they were all, because I get it. The last thing a guy like that who's been in wrestling for 30 years wants to meet is another fucking comedy writer.
Yeah. Or another guy telling him what is what.
What's
right?
funny or how to talk or like these guys are professionals. They're professional entertainers. They're the top of their fucking game. The last thing they need me for structure and how to put things together. They don't need me to tell them how to be entertaining. And I recognize that, I think. And then I did jokes that were very specifically about, they weren't general. They weren't silly wrestling jokes. They were about their careers and what they did. And they wound up just being the coolest. And I got to shout out Tommy Dreamer, man. He didn't have to do this. And this is always going to stand out to me as one of the coolest things in the world. So they wanted me to host the roast. They decided, why don't we have Zach host? It was supposed to be somebody else. They want to have Zach. And Tommy Dreamer gave up his first class seat so that we could both fly coach.
Oh, wow.
To the event.
Wow.
And with what that guy's put his body through and the way he walks, the way he must feel in the morning, for him to be willing to do that for a guy that he only knows tertially, like me. We've met a few times. I know he also has a podcast on Gas.
On Gas as well, yeah.
And he said the House of Hardcore, super great guy. The fact that he would do that for me, a fan who just happens to be a comedian, is just, legend, nice guy stuff.
Unbelievable.
What a fucking stand-up dude. And yeah, they flew me out. I got to, make fun of everybody to their face, hang out for the day, and it was super fun. I wound up working with everybody on the roast individually and helping them get their shit together.
You got to sit down with Mark Henry. There was Bubba Ray Dudley as well.
Yeah, it was Mark Henry, Bubba Ray Dudley, Tommy Dreamer, Tasha Steele, Nick Aldis.
As well.
And then our guest of honor was Dave LaGreca from Busted Open Radio. And yeah, it was in a little amphitheater in Texas, right outside of Mania. And about 1,000, 1,500 people. It was really fucking wild, man. Nobody knew who I was. I had to go out cold and just start insulting wrestlers.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something right now. I don't know where I was watching it, but the comments after the fact of the roast, like you said, a lot of people didn't know who you are or who you were. but they were like, "Who is this guy, Zac Amico? He's hilarious." Wrestling guy, because you could obviously tell you're a wrestling guy with the jokes you were saying, and you're obviously a stand-up comedian. You're fucking hilarious. So to see that people, and I think that's what's great about you, is because you have your hand in a lot of different things that, you know, maybe if people don't know you from the wrestling world, but they know you from the stand-up comedy world, they'll coincide, and you know what, and that's good for everybody, I think, right?
Yeah, and I also work in horror, so like, somehow, if you're into like niche weird stuff, I somehow will permeate your brain somewhere. Be it whether you watch one of my movies, you saw me do a roast, or you know, you watch wrestling on YouTube. Somehow, I'm on your screen somewhere.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Speaking about roast, I have to talk about the Luis Gomez roast, because that was probably one of the funniest roasts I've ever seen in my life, and oh, you guys are animals, man, and I love how much you guys love each other and are good friends, to my knowledge, because
I mean, everybody up on that dais was pretty close. You know, those are the ride or die. You know, those are our ride or die.
Yeah.
Those are our boys. That was wild. So that was at Skankfest, and the one thing about the video of that I wish it portrayed was how many people were there.
That's another thing too. They didn't show the crowd, but I had a friend from another podcast, Joshua Shapiro. He was there, and he said it was bedlam there. It was like what you want in a festival and a crowd, and obviously a roast. But continue.
Yeah. So what we had, it was a 1,500 seat space. Those seats filled up immediately.
For sure.
Then there was standing room in the back that filled up. Then it was on, so Skankfest was pretty much a block in Texas. So it was the club, then another space, then a warehouse we rented out, and then this was a parking lot that we had turned into an outdoor stage. And there was an entire street on the side of it that filled up with people.
Jesus Christ.
And now, not only that, there was just random people walking behind who didn't know what it was, and I'm just saying,
just stopping by and let me see what the hell's going on here. It's
yeah, but yeah, it was a massive amount of people, and I was definitely the most people I've ever performed in front of, and I was shitting a brick before that one. But then once it got rolling, man, everybody did so good. Everybody had so much fun. The crowd was so great, and it was a celebration of Lewis too. Like,
yeah,
you know, everything he's done for us and for comedy in general, laying his neck on the line and always having his boys' backs. It was nice to have a night for him.
I think the one person I was a little disappointed not to see was maybe Ralph Sutton. Maybe I would have loved to have heard what Ralph Sutton had to say about Lewis and the gang.
Ralph would have done just fine. I think he knew that. I think everyone on that one was a comedian.
Yeah,
Had
that's
it
what I
been
figured.
something where more of a mix, I think he might have been more into it.
Okay.
But if I was a non-comic, I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere near that guy.
Jesus.
Everybody was bringing their A shit on that one.
The process behind the jokes is, I know a lot of them were written by fans. There's a lot of the jokes that people were saying. How was that process? How did it happen? Like, what was the process behind that?
Oh, no, they were written by writers.
Okay, actual writers. I had the
written by a
assumption that
writer,
somebody, like, let's say I wanted to say a joke, or somebody, and if they wanted to take it, they would have took it, kind of thing. That's what I assumed.
No, so what had happened was all the comedians were given, on top of their pay, a budget and a list of writers. I helped put together about 50 people. That were just people that do good at roast battle or other good roast writers, and everybody got to hire a team if they wanted to help them with their shit.
Okay.
Some people chose to, some people chose to do it by themselves. It's a very like, I hate reading other people's shit. I need it to be me, or I won't deliver it right.
Okay.
And there's people I write for that, like, I wouldn't be right for other people. Like, I can write in certain voices, I can't in others. But yeah, no, everybody that wrote on it was a pro.
And to me, one thing, I remember when you had, it was on the SDR show, and you had Chris Jericho on the show, and you were the special, you were there as well. Do they always? Obviously, they're going to ask you, or maybe even. 'Cause I know Tommy Dreamer has a show on the Gas Digital Network, but to me, I think you're the wrestling guy for the Gas Digital Network. Do they always ask you to do these little interviews for wrestling guys on other podcasts as well, or is it just?
Yeah, usually anytime a guest, if there's a wrestler or somebody from a punk band, I am the go-to, or horror movies. I am the go-to. Hey, go get Zach to sit in on this one.
And that whole thing with Chris Jericho, it seems like I don't think you're going to be invited to the cruise, Jericho cruises after that whole.
Which is so weird because so many people asked me to do that. People are like, "Oh, are you going to be a comic on it?" And I was like, "I don't. That didn't go well." I don't know if he thought I was fucking with him or if he was in a bad mood. Because in my head, they give people context. I'm sure he's not a dick.
No, of course not.
He just I was kind of just being polite because what had happened was Big Jay Oakerson was supposed to be the other comic on
Okay.
He had to cancel last minute because the bonfire taping got too close.
Okay.
So Ralph called me and said, "Hey, can you hop on Zoom? I have Chris Jericho coming in." So I set up my computer and I was ready for him. But he thought he knows Jay. He's known Jay for years.
Yeah.
You know, they're both pseudo metal dads. So they I think he was excited to see his friend Jay, and then it was me. So I think he was already a little weirded out that he felt like he got baited and switched.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, well, I'm going to ask. In my head, I'm going to ask him something that he's not asked every day. But let me throw him a real softball first so that it's a clip. So that it's just something lighthearted and fun.
Yeah.
That, if he has a story or
you can
something.
replay it a million times if it need be. Yeah.
And I go, something easy. And you can tell me your opinion on it. You interview people. Tell me if I was being a dickhead here. I said, Chris, I love that you're singing your own theme song. And everybody loves Judas so much. If you had to name another wrestler in your world that you think should sing their own theme music, who do you think it should be? And in my head, I'm giving him a lob.
Exactly.
Story, or say, well, you know who's a crazy good singer, and you'd never believe it, Mark Henry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's got just something silly.
I know where your head was going with that. Yeah.
And he goes, "That's a stupid fucking question. Ask me something else."
But straight out serious, right. And I saw your face. I'm like, whoa! Like, I know you didn't. Well, you reacted, but you reacted professionally to say okay, let me go on now to the next question.
I was like, all right, yeah, I guess I'll go fuck myself, Chris Jericho. Thanks.
But I'm sure he's a nice guy too. But
yeah, and I've heard nothing but nice things about him. Jay knows him. I know a few. Norton knows him, and they all like him very much. So,
well, he was on a show. I don't know if. Well, I'm sure he was on a show called Z-Rock. Back in the day,
Jay was on that, and he was on the Norton episode.
Joey Quesada,
and then he brought out Jim the Animal Norton.
Yeah, and he was
at the end of the episode.
Big J. I'll segue to Big J because I'm a big fan of Big J's comedy as well, and I didn't know because we are good friends with Joey Quesada that had that show Z-Rock. And we've had him on the show, and I'm going through the clips, and I'm like, Big J. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Do you know Joey Quesada personally, or have you heard of him?
I've met him briefly. He came out to a club one night when I was working the door, and I saw him walk by, and I knew Jay was on the lineup, and I went, Z-Rock, right? He goes, yeah. I went, Big J's downstairs. I'll tell him you're here.
Joey-licious.
And couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've only met him briefly, but I liked him a lot.
Another thing that I wanted to ask you too. I'm a big fan of Impractical Jokers, and I know that there was an episode when you were on the a punishment with all the zombies and everything. You're very good friends with I know you're friends with Sal Vulcano. Obviously, you know all of them as well. How did that come about by being on Impractical Jokers?
So that was actually just a wonderful series of coincidences. My first real writing job was the roast of Big J.
Okay.
And I was writing for Lewis and one or two other people. And then the week of, I wound up hooking up with Sal, and I helped Sal with his set. And, just the fucking nicest guy. I mean, one of the nicest human beings that's ever lived. and so funny and just a fucking great dude. And so I'd known Sal for a while, and I actually so the movie company I'm involved with is called Trauma Entertainment, and I've been with them for over a decade now. And through their old head of production, my friend Doug Sackman, we were part of a thing called the New York City Zombie Crawl, and it was a twice a year pub crawl, one in Halloween time, one in the summer, where we would go bar to bar dressed as zombies. And we would usually get a really big venue to start with, and people could get their makeup done by professional special effects artists. And we wound up having a few gigs where, like, we did the premiere of Zombieland, where they wanted us to have 1,000 zombies storm the theater.
Okay, wow.
And it was super fun. And basically, we created this system and it wasn't, film quality zombies, but we could knock out a few hundred zombies an hour with this team of people. And Doug had done some MTV show with it where they profiled him, and a few other things where they were filming our zombie crawls. And Impractical Jokers approached Doug about having the zombie punishment for Sal, and I just went to do makeup. I didn't plan on being in it.
Oh, okay. You weren't aware that you were going to actually be on the show.
I went to go work.
Okay.
And I brought my shit in case, because just like wrestling, you never.
Exactly. You're such a I love it. I love it.
It's so funny. I keep the wrestling makeup, like my powder and like my wrestling makeup, on me in my bag everywhere I go.
Because you never know.
I ever need to cut a promo.
You just never know. Exactly. And in this day and age, you pull out your phone. That's a promo. Exactly. So yeah.
So I always keep my shit on me because of that wrestling thing. You never leave your gear bag in the car, or you leave it in the car, but you never leave it at home.
Yeah.
So I had my shit with me, and they said, "Hey, we want to put you in." I went, "Hey, listen, I'm friends with Sal. I think it's gonna blow the bit." And they went, no, there's no way. He's gonna be up on this platform, 100 yards away from you. He'll never see you. And I went, yeah, he's gonna know. And they went, no. So what you don't see in that footage is when that wall of zombies comes out, he screams and then goes, Zac Amico!
Get the fuck out of here!
And then you see me turn to all the producers and then turn back.
I told you.
But yeah, and then essentially throughout his punishment, they were directing us, but we were also kind of like, there were some people in the crowd helping get everybody moving in the same direction and everything going. So you'll see me when Sal's in the cage, you see me kayfabing to the other zombies to pick up the cage so that it doesn't drag on the ground and fuck up the sound.
Oh man. Is he? I know that you've talked to him a couple of times. Is he actually afraid of cats that much? Like I can't comprehend how he's so afraid of cats.
I don't know either, man. It's definitely they're playing on real shit, and in my experience with him, he's as genuine as it gets. I don't think he would fake that one for the show.
Big wrestling fan as well.
Yeah, huge wrestling fan. Lots of fun. He loves it, man.
Maybe we could have a cross promotion. Maybe you could be on Catalyst. You could be on Impractical Jokers as the fourth Joker. You never know.
Oh, I would. What I wouldn't give, buddy.
Another thing I wanted to ask you too, because I'm always curious about these things. When Big J got dosed, and I know you were there. I always keep watching it back and back to see everyone's reaction, to see if there was actually somebody that knew what was happening, who didn't know. What was your take on that? Because it seemed to me that you had no idea what the hell was going on.
Okay, I knew the acid was in play.
Okay, that we know for sure.
I was told there was acid. I knew where it was supposed to go.
Okay.
Now, after that, I knew nothing. And I'm glad I didn't, because I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. And I'm watching because we're all watching Ari.
Yeah.
And I'm watching Ari look at his hands and have this, really excellent performance. Eh?
He fooled everybody.
And then the second he turned it, we went, oh, he didn't take it. And then he said he dosed Jay, which, of all the people to do it to, is so mean because he wasn't at all involved.
No.
And he's got such anxiety that I can't imagine him wanting to take acid for the first time
God.
in front of anybody, much less on
Oh,
camera on a
man.
podcast. So then poor Jay, who all he wanted to do that night was like go to a diner after and like have a sandwich with his chick. Now he's on the drug that makes you not want to eat for 24 hours. And he's depressed and everyone laughed at him.
Because at a point where he's like, I think I'm those, but I'm not. It was just, I felt like it was such a rouse, like I don't know, man. I have
That was
never
the
done that to
bad-
any
so-
of my friends. God forbid someone does it to me. But I would think
I
that
think-
you would have thought maybe, holy shit, did I get dosed here now? You
Oh
know?
no, everyone was afraid. Everyone was checking.
Yeah.
So basically, I think that was like the height of the pandemic driving everyone crazy because we were doing all these outdoor shows,
Yeah.
we couldn't tour, and I think we were all just had such cabin fever, and those few months where we did the Legion of Skanks election, and we were all fucking with each other, and we were all trying to sabotage each other. Everyone was on such edge, and it was so deep into like pandemic hysteria that no one trusted anybody. I got a call like the week before the election. I'm in an Uber going to the studio, and I get a call from Lewis, my co-host, and he's screaming at me.
As usual.
But not like usual. Like he's
Okay.
flipping out. And he goes, I know you're turning on me. This is
Oh
bullshit.
my God.
I'm your best friend, and you're going to fuck me over in this election. And I go, what are you talking about? And, and he goes, no, I know. You're going to fuck me. And he's screaming at me. And I went, dude, Lewis, I swear on my grandmother, I don't know what you're talking about right now. And it was because at Podcast Merch, somebody had ordered a 4XL Ari Shaffir shirt.
Oh my God.
And he thought it was me that I was going to take the shirt off and side with Ari. And he had built this entire reveal in his head
Yeah.
that was all fake. But we were all so on edge from everybody fucking with everybody that nobody knew what was. I mean, me and Lewis brought fucking Milo Yiannopoulos out, and
Yeah.
people, the club was afraid that they were going to get bomb threats.
Oh my God.
The funniest part about bringing Milo, because Milo's just such a piece of shit. And he's such a scumbag, awful person that it's so funny to bring him out. And while I introduced Milo, and then the first thing I did was go across the street to watch people realize what was happening.
Oh my
And I'm
God.
just watching, Manhattan chicks walk by, hear him talk, and go, "No, you're not supposed," because he's so canceled.
Yeah.
They can't fathom that
Yeah.
he has a platform. and
How is he
microphone.
here? Yeah.
Yeah. You're not a thing anymore. You're over. And I'm watching their brains explode. That all these people are like laughing and clapping for this fucking evil motherfucker.
Oh man, have you gone into any things like that? Like I know there's a whole cancel culture thing now. Any people trying to cancel you for any apparent reason? Because I don't see why. They would, or any of your friends.
I've gotten some threats and I say wild shit on my podcast. I think obviously all joking. I don't think I've ever said anything with genuine hate, but I've had people threaten to like clip me. I've been doxxed. People tried to post personal information, and unfortunately, in the world we live in, I've had people like, let's just say people close to me have had to make their social media private.
Okay.
Because people don't respect boundaries.
That's for sure. It's not fun anymore on social media anymore, right? It's just it's everyone's just hacking at everybody, trying to get one up on everybody else, and it's
half people with ill intentions, half people that are trying to be funny.
Yeah.
But having to untag yourself from your own wedding photos is a bummer.
Oh my God. Speaking about Lewis, I know, and just to talk about. There was we had an episode of trivia between me and my producer, my good friend here, Selecta Brew, and I always had a feeling because I was never good at trivia, but he ended up beating me in trivia for wrestling, and I'm supposed to be the wrestling guy here. I lost to Selecta Brew, but nobody knows that Selecta Brew is a very big wrestling fan. And in my head, like I'm sure Lewis, I was thinking about you screwing him over. I thought somebody was screwing with me to the point where maybe somebody's is giving him the answers. They were cheating and everything. So I could see where Lewis was coming from in your situation. He must be a big wrestling fan as well, Lewis, because that's where our mentalities come into play. Is this guy gonna low blow me? Is he gonna screw me? He's gonna hit me with a chair, kind of thing, So talk about Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis grew up on it. Lewis knows a lot of the classic stuff.
Okay.
It's so funny. It's the funniest picture I've ever seen in my life. Lewis went to WrestleMania fan access.
Okay.
Do you know this? What I'm talking about?
The before the event, they have like the weekend thing there. You can meet all the wrestlers
and it's when Shawn had the Intercontinental title.
Oh wow, the white one.
Yeah.
Oh, I
the
love
nice
that
white
belt.
one.
I love that belt.
And Lewis's mom took him, and he stood online for a picture with Shawn Michaels, and he has that picture.
Okay. I thought something bad was gonna.
His mom thought he wanted a picture with the belt. So she cropped out Shawn Michaels.
No. Oh my God.
So Lewis had a picture with the belt and Shawn Michaels' knuckles. And him smiling, thinking he's taking a picture with Shawn Michaels.
And in those days, it's not like you could pull up it's hard to.
Yeah.
It was probably on the camera roll. Probably you had to go.
Yeah, the one you had to rewind.
Oh my God.
Some white mother fucking took a picture of him smiling with the belt, and it's just Shawn Michaels' torso and the knuckles holding it. It's so funny.
Oh man! To me, I wanted to do a little segment here of just like fantasy matches. But we're gonna be putting in your friends in these fantasy matches because I know that Luis Gomez, the Puerto Rican rattlesnake, to me he's a very tough guy. He's very vocal, and I know that he would fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. Who do you think would win in a match between him and Ari Shaffir?
Lewis has got his number.
Well, no, we said that was a no rules match.
No rules, no disqualification.
Yeah, no DQ match.
No DQ,
the
anything
next match
goes.
was a regular match.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
If it's no DQ, I would not put it past Ari to have a weapon or like pepper spray or something.
Or some kind of situation where somebody helps him or something.
Overestimate Lewis's overconfidence in his own fighting skills. So I would be careful about that one. But at the end of the day, Lewis is going to knock his dick in the dirt. Lewis is a big guy.
He is a big guy. He doesn't look that big on TV, but he's a fucking big boy, man.
Yeah, he's a big gorilla, and he's got skills, man. He's out there. People get on him, but he's out there. He's out there rolling with like Mickey Gall and shit.
Yeah.
He's no joke, man.
And I'm sure he's taking some advice from him as well. Taking some pointers, and that whole thing there. I don't know if I'm not too keen on the situation, but I did hear that was he trying to fight in an MMA match, Joe Rogan? Is that correct?
No, he's gonna fight Jason Ellis.
Okay, Jason Ellis, and then Joe Rogan intervened and told him not to, or
yeah, but they're gonna fight in they don't have a date yet, but it's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah, they're both getting ready for it. I know it's gonna be next year.
Okay, so another fantasy match. We're big fans of the Bonfire, and I know Dan Soder is a big wrestling fan. Who do you think would win in a wrestling match? Let's know this is a regular match, right, Bruno? Yeah. Regular match. Dan Soder versus Big Jay Oakerson.
So I'd imagine it would be very hard to knock Soder out with a head like that. Okay. But Jay's from Philly.
You can fight.
I've seen Jay in 2 physical altercations in my life, both of which he did not instigate, both of which he ended swiftly.
Okay.
I don't know Dan's fight history. I've seen Jay chokeslam somebody through a table in a real fight.
Wow.
And I've also seen Jay get attacked on stage, and Jay keep his wits about him and really not be in any danger whatsoever. So, I'm gonna. And no disrespect to Dan, I just don't know. I don't know enough about his inner workings, so I'm gonna go Jay on that one.
Okay. Catalyst performed at a Skankfest a couple of years ago. Is that true?
Yeah, and one of our last New York one actually, we had a day of Catalyst Wrestling to start the day.
Is there ever
It was really super fun.
is there ever going to be a chance to see Catalyst Wrestling again at the next Skankfest, or is that something that
Hopefully one day, now that we're traveling, it's not as easy because different states have different licenses,
Okay.
and you need athletic commissions involved and shit if it's New York. I would hope that one day we will have wrestling again at Skankfest, but I do not know if we're gonna have it in Vegas, because Vegas has its own, set of rules and laws and shit.
Okay.
And it's just a whole extra thing to have to fucking plan and go about. But yes, I hope one day there will be more co-promotion, because that was really fun. That was a good card too.
Are you you a big fan of AEW?
That's on DVD. That's actually real quick. That Catalyst at Skankfest, that actually is online on DVD.
Oh wow!
It is on. I know I have a copy from, I think, Walmart, but it should be on Amazon and everything.
Okay.
It's back when we were still called Capital, but it was called Live from Skankfest, and the whole event is on it. It's really good.
That's fucking cool, man. That's cool. Talk to us about your podcast, the Midnight Spook Show. It's to me, I'm not a horror kind of guy. I know my friend Eight to the Tracks. He's a big horror genre kind of guy. How does that all come into play with you with that podcast there?
So Midnight Spook Show is kind of my my passion project. It is myself and other comedians, filmmakers, personalities, and we sit down and watch a horror movie and talk over it. It's very much a friend experience, where it's just people hanging out watching a movie, and then we screen it for free every Friday night at midnight on Gas Digital. It comes out on YouTube a few days later, and it could be horror movies, B movies, genre movies, anything that you could somehow in your mind consider a midnight movie by one way or another. And it's just friends having fun, getting to know each other, talking through a movie. And I think people enjoy it, because it's just the same as when you watch a movie at home with your friends. Sometimes you talk about the movie the whole time. Sometimes the movie never even fucking comes up.
I'm actually a little bit disappointed that you didn't get asked to come to Montreal for just for laughs. I know Big J's going to be here with
Big J will be hosting the Dirty Show for the whole time.
Yeah.
Hopefully one year, still getting out there.
Nice. Well, we're gonna be there as well in Montreal, supporting Big J. Obviously, good friends with you and the Gas Digital. You want to tell everybody where they could find you on social media and any other projects you're going to be happening in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go on Instagram at Zac is Not Funny. My backup Twitter is ZA Spook Show. I have 3 podcasts. The Real Ass Podcast, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with myself and Louis J. Gomez. Bye Guys with me and Ian Finance, Thursdays. And Zac Amico's Midnight Spook Show, Fridays at midnight. All those are under the Gas Digital Network banner. I have a new movie out in theaters currently called #Shakespeare's Shitstorm, out with Trauma Entertainment. It is currently screening in theaters across America. And I have a few new movies coming out in the next few weeks, including The Secret of Cuck Island, which will be premiering at the Trauma Dance Film Festival at the Mahoning Drive-In in Layton, Pennsylvania on the 17th of July. And Catalyst Wrestling returns to Brooklyn on July the 16th. Come on out.
Follow Zac on all his projects and all his social media platforms. Support him as much as you can. Zac, I want to thank you for giving us the time for us to talk to you about everything about comedy, wrestling, and everything else. I want to thank you very much. We really appreciate it here at Jofo in the Ring.
Thank you for having me, guys.
And remember, everybody, wrestling is life.
So, Jofo, I'm a gargle a shot for Kurt Hennig and everybody before we go.
Oh, no.
Jofo, thank you guys.